Good morning, it's Rebecca of the Glitch Stitchery. It is Friday morning, April 2nd, I think. Yeah. This morning I just wanted to go through some mail I got and plan some future projects that directly relate to the mail. So first off, I get a crochet magazine every month. It's actually a UK magazine. I subscribed to it to have it start coming in December, and then with everything crazy that happened, they came weirdly out of order. So my one from January came middle of February. My February one and my December one came 2 days apart, beginning of March. And then this one, issue 108, just arrived like 2 days ago. And I finally had the time to sit down and look through it. I don't normally use patterns, but there's a few things in here that I don't really know how to do yet, so I'm probably going to use the pattern for those. And mostly I'm excited for the fact that for the 25th anniversary of Pokemon, they have an amigurumi pattern. It's so cute. I was looking through my stash, and I think I have the perfect yellow for it. I think this will work really well. It's a bigger weight than they were asking for, but if I do everything in a bigger weight and make a slightly bigger hook, then it'll just be a bigger plushie, probably. We'll see. And I have the other colors. It also takes a little bit of black, a little bit of brown, and then like red for the cheeks and white for the shinies in the eyes. So yeah, that shouldn't be too hard. So I have that. What else? Normally I go through these and I'm like, oh, these are cute, but I don't actually need patterns for these things. But there was actually some pretty good ones this time. There was an entire article on cottagecore flower stuff. I don't need that, I just thought it was interesting. I might end up using some of the flower designs in the future though. They are pretty. Let's see. There's a lot of patterns in this one, so it's just going to take me a minute. Pikachu. I might try to see if I can make the Pikachu a girl Pikachu, because I'm trying not to show you the pattern. The end of its tail is squared off, which means it's a boy, while a girl Pikachu has a heart shape. One of my coworkers asked me recently if I was like, how did he put it, big into Pokemon? And I wasn't really sure how to answer, and then I remembered I'd worn a different Pokemon shirt every day for the past week and a half to work, so that's probably why he asked. I think the answer is obvious. Yeah. I don't play Pokemon Go, though. I'm not really into that one. I don't like the mechanics of it very much, and my phone has never really been powerful enough to do much with it. Alright, let's see. Here we go. There's this blanket. Hope you can see it. It's like diamond patterns. It's made using mosaic crochet, which I've never really done anything with. I watched a couple videos on it and I did a swatch. So this would be obviously a very big project for a first mosaic crochet project. I really like it though, and I was thinking if I replaced one of the two solid colors with one of those yarn cakes that does a gradient as you go, then that would look really cool. I don't have green and white, and I wouldn't want something green and white anyway because that doesn't match anything I own. But I do have a red to black gradient yarn that would look really cool as the diamonds. And then like a solid color that sort of matches as, or maybe even not matched, like maybe something that sets it off really well. I don't know yet. I have a lot of cotton, and I would be making this out of cotton. One of my friends was cleaning out their stash recently, and I was given a whole, like a whole trash bag full of cotton yarn, so I have a lot right now. I do like using it for like swatches and learning new techniques though, because it's reasonably cheap and it's washable, so that those are both helpful. Let's see, what else? Oh, I remember. I want to make these really bad. They're just so pretty. I still have to make my first pair of socks, which will be the more easy pair. These ones are made using actual sock yarn, so they'll take longer. But I love shell patterns, and it's so pretty. So yeah, I am wondering though why they have the shell part going across the sole of the foot, because you can see it here. It goes, so you're stepping on part of the shells, and I'm a little concerned that that part would wear out really quick. So I'm wondering if it makes more sense to just make a different sock pattern that's just a solid sock up to the very base of the ankle, and then do the shell stuff just for the cuff part that goes up the leg. I think that would probably last longer, and since I haven't really made socks yet, I don't want to make them and have them wear out within like 2 wears. That'd be really upsetting for me. Especially if I used a really nice yarn. Let's see, there's a bunch of baby stuff in here that I don't need. That's kind of the thing with magazines. It is fun to get them every month, and it's random what the patterns are in them. I like reading them, and I like looking at the pictures, but I don't necessarily make stuff out of them. Okay, this one I am gonna make, but again, it's a technique I've never used before. It's a pillowcase for like a pillow on the couch, and it has the Space Invader symbol on it. It uses corner to corner crochet, which I've never done, and it shuts in the back with buttons to, you know, so you can take it off to wash it, which makes me think I would definitely want to use a washable yarn for it, probably cotton. They use acrylic in this. I never use acrylic, so cotton makes more sense. And I would probably use a brighter color for the Space Invader, because even though green is accurate, there are a lot of different colors for them. And I would prefer something a little more neon to set off the background better. And it's just more fun. Actually, I was planning on doing all of my pillows for the living room in like aqua, in turquoise, and then getting a couch cover in that color, or when we replace our couch, getting one that matches that. So I could do it in like a really, really bright blue or aqua or turquoise or something that matches those other pillows that I already bought fabric for. That would probably make sense. I basically never sew, but I can sew a pillow cushion. a pillow cover. That is about it. And like sew a button onto something. That's very limited skills there. That might have been it, looking through this. There was some articles on like cotton cakes and yarn cakes. Those were nice. I'm looking at the picture for next issue. There is almost always a granny square sweater on the cover. They're different every time, which is good, I guess, but I wonder if I can reach them so I can show you. Like the cover on this one, granny square sweater. Okay, that one's not a granny square sweater. Okay, here we go. Not exactly a granny square sweater, but the way the colors interlock with each other is pretty similar. This one, I guess, is a scarf on the front of a sweater. Oh, yeah, here we go. December issue, granny square sweater. I don't know, it's just a lot of granny square based sweaters. Nothing wrong with that. I just don't know that I'd ever make one. I do like the shape on the one for the next month though, because the bottom of the sweater is like a diamond, like that. be it. The end of it's always like instructions on how to do really basic crochet stuff, which is funny. There is metric to US conversions in here, which is also useful because, like I said, this is a UK magazine and I mostly use American terms. Yeah, so that was it for that one. I do think I'll be trying out some of those patterns though soon. I'm almost done with the sampler circular scarf, after which the circular hooks are going to my husband's sweater. After that, I need to work on the Tunisian scarf for me. That one's going really slow though. But after I get at least one project done, I can start working on the socks, which will hopefully go fast. I'm assuming they'll take roughly the same amount of time that making like a pair of mittens does. Just because they're made with worsted weight yarn, so I'm assuming it will be similar construction-wise. Especially since when you make mittens, you leave like a gap here and then you stitch the thumb on. And then on the sock pattern, it's like you stitch and then you gusset for the heel and then you stitch, so it's like the same type of construction. So that should make it easier to work with. The other thing I got in the mail yesterday was my monthly subscription from Spunky Eclectic. So that will be spun on the channel probably next week. I'm like more than halfway done with the Targhee lamb. And once that's done, I'll take a break to spin this, and then I'll work on finishing up the Jacob fleece. So I can just show you what it looks like real quick. This is the March one, because she ships them at the end of the month. So the March one comes right at the end of the month or right at the beginning of April. The one she'll ship at the end of April come right before the end of the month or right at the beginning of May, etc. So it's like pastels. So it's pretty. And it's BFL, which is like my favorite because it's so soft and easy to spin and fast. I'll probably do, let's see, I did a single ply for my last one from her fibers. So this one I should probably do a 2 or 3 ply. I don't know yet. Looking at it, I might try to break it up and put it into a gradient. I don't know. I do really like the colors. I don't know what I would do with the colors. They're pretty soft compared to what I normally use. Yeah, it always comes with a drawstring. I reuse these constantly. I have so many of them around my house. I use them to put projects in to keep all the yarns and hooks together. I have real project bags too, but if I receive plastic in the mail, I want to reuse it until it gets a rip in it, because otherwise it feels like such a waste. That might be it for right now. I have more mail coming. Excuse me. So, in addition to Spunky Eclectic, every month I get Paradise Fibers. So the one for April usually comes first week. Well, each month they come roughly the first week of the month, give or take a day or two. I already got the notification of the spoilers for it that I don't remember anymore because I forget them as soon as I read them. Other than that, I signed up for a breed study that shipped from Canada, and that's not here yet. Shipping has been really slow, so I'm not really surprised about that, but if it's not here within like a week or so, I'll probably message them and ask about it. If it's going to be that slow to ship every time, I might pay a couple more dollars a month to add tracking or something. What else? I do want to do more breed studies on the channel, because that's where my strengths lie, where my experience lies. When I first got into spinning, I only started spinning because I wanted to try crocheting with every possible fiber, but I thought it would be cheaper to spin my own yarn than to buy Angora and Yak and etc. yarns, which I was completely wrong, okay? If you are looking to get into spinning because you think it is cheaper than buying luxury yarns, the amount of time and money you will spend learning to spin will vastly outweigh the amount that you would spend on just buying the yarns. That said, spinning is way more enjoyable for me than crocheting, even if the average spinning wheel is $500. I really like mine. I got it used, so it was a little cheaper than that. And then I put, all that extra money into more bobbins. Because it usually only comes with 3, I think, which is not nearly enough. If I'm spinning a pound of wool, and then I want to ply it, a pound of wool is 4 bobbins of singles, and then you need at least 4 bobbins to ply it. Probably more, depending on exactly the methods you're using, because some of them puff up, and then they take more bobbins. So I think I have 10 or 11, and then I buy a few more each year just to keep adding to it. I have a second wheel that a dear friend gave me, and I upgraded it so it takes the same type of bobbins as this one. I'm more used to the double treadle. The other one's a single treadle. When I have more space, I'll have them both set up so I can choose one or the other based on how I'm doing that day. Because sometimes my legs, like one of them I broke a few years ago, so some days it doesn't really want to cooperate. But on those days a single treadle makes sense. What else? You can learn to spin with a spindle, and that is cheaper than a wheel by like a ridiculous amount. A spindle from Snyder's Spindles on Etsy, that's my favorite type of spindle. They spin really well. I think those were like $25 each. But the fiber is what's gonna set you back, because you're gonna waste a huge amount in the beginning learning to spin. I destroyed my first several pounds of wool because I had no idea what I was doing, and I didn't follow the instructions correctly. So the singles, they were thick and thin. They were okay, and then I tried to ply it, and I didn't realize you're supposed to ply in the opposite direction that you spun in, so I made very kinky rope. That does not sound right. It curled up on itself and just like this mass. It was horrible. I wasted so much alpaca. And it was some of the softest alpaca I've ever touched too. It felt like baby duckling feathers. I'm still really upset about that. And it's been like almost 10 years. So do not do as I do. Do as I say. If you want to learn to spin. Oh, I hate mornings. If you want to learn to spin, watch some videos on YouTube. Ask a lot of questions. I did not ask questions. I don't like asking people for help, but I should have. Buy some books. I think you can get DVDs too, although I'm not really sure what advantage a DVD has over the vast expertise of YouTube, but you never know. Let's see, the book that finally helped me figure out what I was doing wrong is this one. Spinner's Book of Yarn Designs by Sarah Anderson. That was the first time I realized that plying was supposed to be a different direction than spinning. Because Z-twist and S-twist meant, and still mean, basically nothing to me. So, yeah, this was pretty helpful. And I did learn a lot of different art yarns from this. At some point I want to go through and spin all the different art yarns that are in it. Because there's a lot. That would be probably like a year-long project. That could be something I do for the channel in the future, maybe. Some of them I would need a different upgrade for my wheel for, though, because my orifice is just the normal orifice, and the art yarn orifice has to be significantly bigger to fit beads and crap through. So I couldn't really do it at this point in time, but maybe in the future. So yeah, definitely recommend this book if you want to learn how to spin, and a Snyder spindle, which I can link to in the description, because I have 3 of their drop spindles and 2 of their Turkish spindles. And while I don't use spindles very much anymore when I'm traveling, they are what I bring with me, and they are really great. And they have a lot of cutouts usually at the top, so they are pretty light, but the whorl's really big, so it spins really, really well, which is what I personally look for in a spindle. I think that's it. I'm gonna get off the camera before I ramble any longer. And if you have any questions about spinning yarn or basic crochet and Tunisian crochet techniques, let me know and I'll see if I can help you out. Have a great weekend.